Hello and welcome to the channel. This is DevDotLog signing in. I know the devs are already signed in as well, so if you are new to the channel, do click on that subscribe button. So not long ago, I did a video on the high demand for software developers in South Africa. Now, not only is the demand continuing to rise, there has been a substantial increase in the salaries as well. Of course, with the senior developers taking the biggest cut of that cake. So just for your sake, please do take note that I am referencing the OfferZen report. That is the OfferZen 2020 South Africa report on the state of the software developer nation. It seems that back-end developers on average are the ones that are actually making the most in terms of their salary earnings compared to front-end developers and full-stack developers, which is quite interesting because I often think of full-stack development as like having a very big feast where there is only one person that actually gets to eat all that food. I mean, as much as I'm not expecting this person to, finish all that food, I am at least expecting that person to get a full stomach. So I feel like, there's a bit of an injustice going on here. So when you check out the report, it does clearly state that this report is based on a survey of over 3,200 developers. I'm not sure if that number is big enough. I mean, how many developers are there in South Africa compared to the number of developers that actually took the survey? In that same sense, out of those 3,200 software developers, or over 3,200 software developers, how much of a difference is there in terms of the salaries and the experience of those that took the survey compared to those that were not part of the survey? I think that is something to be curious about as you are going through this information. It looks like developers that are in Cape Town are still getting paid more compared to those that are in Johannesburg or Pretoria. But at the same time, I think that might also have to do with the cost of living when it comes to Cape Town, especially if we are talking about the CBD area, as that is, of course, the place where you would expect to spend more and expect to pay more in terms of your rent and other expenses. So if you are someone that is actually looking to relocate from one place to Cape Town or Johannesburg or Pretoria or wherever, these are some of the things that you actually need to take into account. For me, I think one of the most interesting categories on this report is the one for best paying programming languages in South Africa, which is Go, Kotlin, and Ruby. But at the same time, I think we need to remember that based on the survey, back-end developers are the ones that are making the most on average in terms of salaries. So if you are looking to start your journey as a software developer and you're brave enough to start it out in the back-end, of which I feel, in my own personal opinion, that the back-end is the one that is a bit more challenging to learn compared to the front end, then of course the top three or the most used programming languages in the backend are Java, Python, and JavaScript. So that's what you need to consider as you're making your choices going forward. At the same time, the survey does show that the fintech and cloud technology space are the best paying industries when it comes to being a South African software developer. So if you are a back-end developer that is also working in the fintech or cloud technology space, then you might end up doing quite well for yourself if money is the only language that makes sense to you. Okay, so personally, the main thing I like about this report is that it kind of gives insight as to whether the next step is the kind of step that will keep one relevant in the job market in the next year or two. It is a good way to learn on whether you are playing the same game as everyone else. And if not, then it could help you figure out where you need to actually develop yourself in order to make your next move the best move for your career. So do check out the full report in the description below and let me know what are your thoughts on it. There is obviously a few more to the report than what I have picked out. Of course, these are also the topics I think that I was a little bit more interested in. I mean, just don't look at the information as it is sometimes. Try and also like read in between the lines. I think there's a lot more sense to it in that way. Oh no, man. How come you don't have space? Wow. Icon. Where did all that space go, man? Awankawata, no.